And turning now to the latest on the trial against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. More witnesses for the prosecution take the stand today, including Combs' former assistant, a male escort, and Cassie Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura. Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller is live for us in New York City. Alex, what exactly is Combs' former assistant providing in terms of evidence?
Well, he's really laying the foundation for the RICO charge, that criminal racketeering, detailing essentially what Sean Combs' enterprise looked like, how his business dealings got in line with his personal. He said it was a very fine line between business and personal in the life of Sean Combs. This assistant was responsible for things like bringing Cassie food when she was holed up in those hotel rooms recovering. But he was also responsible for some more dangerous things, like setting up the hotel rooms for Cassie and those escorts. He was responsible for everything from making sure the food was there and things like that, all the way to making sure that he had $10,000 in his Louis Vuitton bag and that he had drugs there. So there was a wide range of responsibilities that this assistant had in the 2 years that he worked for him. He was also put in some situations that he felt were dangerous. There was one night in particular where his rival, Suge Knight, was at a diner, and he ended up having to sit in the front seat with 3 handguns on his lap while they went in to try to look for him. And during that instance, he said it was really the first time that he felt he was in danger working for Sean Combs, and it wasn't long after that he decided to resign. He ended up staying a little bit longer to train his replacement, but he just felt unsafe and resigned shortly after that. And he detailed the level of pressure that was on a lot of Sean Combs' employees. He said multiple assistants went to the hospital for dehydration, that there was kind of a saying around that if you're tired, you're going to get fired. And so all of these things contributed, again, to something that we heard prosecutors talk about, this increased workload, the threats for not working, asking his employees to work these long hours, and with a lack of trust. He described instances where his bags were searched, his computer history was searched. He even had to take a lie detector test at points because Sean Combs was worried that he had stolen from him or that he was submitting information about him. And so he finished his testimony really detailing a part of this that is a very important part for the prosecutors to be able to prove.
And Alex, Cassie's mom took the stand this morning too, but it ended up being a pretty quick line of questioning. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was very quick, especially when you think about the fact that her daughter was on the stand for something like 20 hours. She was really in and out just to talk about her perspective and what she knew about the relationship with Sean Combs. She essentially said that when Cassie started dating him, she started seeing less and less of her and that it was harder to get to her. But she had her own experiences with Sean Combs. There was a point when Sean Combs suspected that Cassie was dating Kid Cudi, that he wanted to be repaid for all of the money that he put out to pay for Cassie, things like rent and things of that nature. And so he asked her parents for $20,000, and they had to take out a home equity loan for this. They coordinated the wire transfer with Bad Boy Records, again, talking about that very fine line between personal and professional. And they ended up wiring him this $20,000. Her mom said on the stand that she did this because she was worried for Cassie's safety. He ended up sending the money back about 5 days later, but it just goes to show the level of control that prosecutors are trying to prove that Sean Combs had over Cassie Ventura. And then they also did briefly discuss the abuse that she knew her daughter was enduring, particularly one Christmas vacation that she had come home for. She took photos of her daughter bruised on her back, on her hip. We saw those photos last week. The jury saw them again today, just showing that her mom took those photos. She testified on the stand because she wanted to have this evidence for the future. So really just, she was really paying attention in those moments, but she felt that, you know, there wasn't much she could do because she was testifying that it was hard to get a hold of her daughter. It was, again, a relatively short direct examination, and then the defense decided not to cross-examine her at all. So she only ended up being on the stand for a short while because the defense didn't even want to take a crack at her. There's an escort on the stand right now, got on the stand just before lunch, and he's back there right now. And so we'll have more of that information for you later this afternoon.
All right, Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller live for us in New York. Alex, thank you.